Are you looking for the best tablets with a stylus? In this video, we will look at some of the 5 best tablets on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Apple iPad Pro. The 11-inch and 12.9-inch Apple iPad Pro are the best tablets you can buy right now. And since both support an active pen, they're also the best tablets with stylus support. You have to buy the Apple Pencil 2 separately, and like the other pens on this list, it's pressure sensitive and supports over 4,000 levels of pressure sensitivity. It's charged inductively by placing the pen on the side of the iPads. On the software side, the Apple Pencil 2 is very well supported. A Notes app is pre-installed, which is fantastic for handwritten notes, supports handwriting recognition, and is a nice drawing pad as well. A pretty new feature is the Scribble feature, which allows you to use handwriting and almost every standard text field. Your handwriting gets converted into computer text automatically. In addition to Apple's apps, you can install tons of others. A big advantage of iPads is that the selection of apps that are specifically optimized for tablets is huge. You can get many different professional drawing apps and photo editing apps like Adobe Photoshop. You can get the iPad Pro with an 11-inch and a 12.9-inch screen, and both are fantastic. With 600 nits, they're brighter than the other tablets on this list, and they've got a refresh rate of 120 Hz. That means that animations look very smooth, and that also goes for writing with the pen. Unlike with 60 Hz screens, the ink of the pen appears immediately just like with a real pencil. There's no visible lag. The iPad Pro series plays in the highest league regarding everything else too. Its Apple M1 chipset is faster than many pricier laptops and much more powerful than every Android tablet out there. You can use it to play the newest games with the highest graphics settings and cut 4K videos and render them fast. Other features are Face ID facial recognition for great speakers, a premium feeling and thin metal body, good cameras, and a LiDAR sensor. With the Magic Keyboard and Smart Keyboard Folio, you can choose between 2 official keyboard covers. Sounds fantastic, but no tablet is perfect. In addition to being very pricey, the 12.9-inch version suffers from a blooming effect in certain situations. At number 2. Samsung Galaxy Tab S8. The tablets of the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 series directly compete with both Apple iPad Pro. In fact, regarding many aspects, they're very similar. Based on my reviews, they're the best Android tablets on the market today, and all 3 versions come with the S Pen included. That's the active stylus from Samsung, which unlike the Apple Pencil never has to be charged. You can charge it if you want, though. Samsung is offering lots more software features for the S Pen, and that includes the exceptional Samsung Notes app. With that one, you can write down handwritten notes, draw something, and annotate PDFs. Using the Air commands, you can quickly start a new note, take a screenshot and annotate it, or use it as a magnifying glass. There are tons of more features, of which some are just a gimmick. I love that you can use the S Pen as a remote in the Camera app and Microsoft PowerPoint. For that to work, the S Pen has to be charged. But for writing and drawing, it never needs to be charged. The Galaxy Tab S8 has an 11-inch LCD, and we get a 12.4-inch Super AMOLED screen with the Galaxy Tab S8 Plus. If you need something even larger, you can get the 14.6-inch Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra, which also has a Super AMOLED display. All of them support 120 Hz, so writing and animations look very smooth. While their Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor is not as powerful as the Apple M1 chipset, it's faster than other Android tablets. That SoC is supported by 8GB, 12GB, and 16GB of RAM, and the hardware is powerful enough for the newest games and demanding graphics apps. All 3 tablets have a fingerprint scanner, fantastic speakers, premium metal bodies, and good cameras. Pre-installed is Android 12, including the Samsung DeX desktop mode. And just like Apple, Samsung is also offering 2 different kinds of keyboard covers for their tablets. At number 3. Apple iPad Mini. The Apple iPad Mini is the best 8-inch tablet, and since it supports the Apple Pencil 2, it's also the best 8-inch tablet with a pen. I love this form factor, and that's why it's my favorite tablet at the moment. Sadly, it's lacking competition because there's number 8-inch Android tablet with a pen out there that can compete with the Mini. You can see it as a smaller iPad Air. Just like with that one, the screen is a very good one. It's 500 nits bright and supports 60 Hz only. At 8 inches, it's very handy and about the size of a small paper notebook. I think this size is perfect for handwriting, and it's also much lighter than other tablets. Pre-installed is exactly the same software as on the Pro and Air, and the Apple Pencil 2 is charged inductively at the side of the Mini 2. The performance of the Apple A15 processor is a bit weaker than the M1, but it continues to be faster than almost every Android tablet. We get a premium metal body, it weighs under 300 g, and we get a Touch ID fingerprint scanner. It has a USB-C port, 2 good stereo speakers, as well as 2 good cameras. In my review, I did notice one downside, however. When scrolling while holding the iPad mini in portrait orientation, there's a rolling shutter effect visible. In the browser, for instance. However, we've got to live with it because, like I said, there's no competition. At number 4. Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 FE. The Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 FE is a much cheaper alternative to the Galaxy Tab S8 Plus and Lenovo Tab P12 Pro. And that means it's also a much less expensive competitor to the 12.9-inch Apple iPad Pro. The Galaxy Tab S7 FE also has a large 12.4-inch screen, and while it's a normal 60 Hz LCD, it's a good one. Without having to pay extra, the S Pen is included and works just as it does on the Galaxy Tab S8 Plus. Here it never can be charged, and that means it cannot be a remote in PowerPoint. Besides that, it works the same and the software is the same too. That includes the Samsung Notes app and the Air commands. Even though the Galaxy Tab S7 FE has a metal body too, everything else is weaker than on the S8 Plus. It's lacking a fingerprint scanner, has 2 speakers instead of 4, and the cameras are weaker. On a positive note, it supports the same 2 great keyboard covers. The performance is quite a bit weaker but good enough for most apps, and the Samsung DeX desktop mode runs great too. Inside the Wi-Fi version runs a Qualcomm Snapdragon 778G processor, while the 5G variant features a Snapdragon 750G chipset. Still, it's more powerful than entry-level tablets. At number 5. Apple iPad 9. The Apple iPad 9 is weaker than the iPad Air, but it still plays in the highest league in many aspects. And since it's so affordable, starting at around $330, it offers a fantastic value. You get a lot for what you pay for here. While the iPad 9 does not support the Apple Pencil 2, you can use it with the first-generation Apple Pencil 1. They're almost the same, but the Pencil 1 is lacking a touch-sensitive area, and it's charged using the Lightning port of the iPad instead of inductively. The software, including Apple Notes and the Scribble feature, is identical as on the Air, Mini, and Pro. At 10.2 inches, the display is a bit smaller than the Air, but it has the same brightness of 500 nits, and it's a 60 Hz panel as well. Sadly, the screen is not laminated, and that's the only big downside of this tablet. It means there's a visible air gap between the IPS panel and touchscreen. That's why it sometimes seems like the pen is not touching the screen directly. That's mostly noticeable when you know about it, because every time I give the iPad 9 and the iPad Air to a friend, they never notice that difference. And I still think it's great, especially for handwritten notes and for students, because it's so affordable, and the Apple Pencil 1 still works great. However, if you need to draw super precisely for your work, for instance, it's better to get the Air or Pro. I think the design looks old, but the metal body continues to feel high-end. We get a Touch ID fingerprint scanner and 2 great speakers. Sadly, it's being charged using the old Lightning port instead of a USB-C connector. Apple is using the older Apple A13 chipset, which means that this SoC is much weaker than the Apple M1. However, even though it's so cheap, it continues to be more powerful than the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 in graphics benchmarks. So demanding games and Adobe Photoshop run great.